Yeah, but then with Barcelona, there's a big file sale there. They literally have to sell everyone so they can pay Messi's wages. It's the saddest thing I've ever read in my life. You've heard
Yeah.
about that?
What do they
They
have to do?
they can't afford to pay Messi unless they shift all their players on. They
That's
literally
insane.
can't afford it. It's
That's insane.
really
And
sad. They're so broke that in order to keep Messi, they literally everybody else is up for sale.
I saw them put on their they posted their credit rating on Twitter. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It was you know how they do like club announcement, how everyone does a club announcement when it's usually when they got a player or they've got something important to say. They did club announcement. We have just been reviewed by this credit agency and we are happy to say that we have reached a good level of credit. Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh my gosh. Barcelona putting their clear score online.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. FPL Bros. This is episode 51, and we're just about to preview the season 2021 to 22. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all right. So much has been going on, and obviously we've had hardly time to breathe with the Euros having finished only a couple of weeks ago, and then there's the Olympics, which still haven't finished, and then we've got the Charity Shield coming up, or is it Community Shield now? I can never remember.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, Man City or play Leicester is something.
Yeah, I mean, call it the part-time trophy because if you win it, it's a trophy. But if you don't win it, then it's not a trophy. So call it the part-time trophy.
Exactly, it doesn't count. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
if it did count, then Rio Ferdinand would have what, like 50 medals or something.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Anyway, all right then. So yeah, obviously, as I just said, the Euros just finished, and an eventful one. Obviously for England, having made it all the way to the final. Some good things, some bad things. Or what's on your mind, Jamie? Did you?
I think I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
If you're asking me about performance-wise, I think performers of the tournament were Italy. I
Mhm.
think hands down they really showed up. I think lots of people had them kind of like in their top maybe 4 or 5 teams, but not many people had them as number one, considering that they hadn't been at major competitions for a little while. But
That,
they seemed to come in as the dark horses, but they really showed their stuff. They showed their quality, you know.
that's so right. Yeah.
And then with England, what I would say is it was just classic England. To be honest with you, barring the Germany performance, I would say that they had a preferable fixture list. And then when the going got tough, they got going.
Yeah, well, I think that's fine. I will take a preferable fixture list anytime.
Of
Uh,
course,
yeah,
it's
that's
just the way
something.
it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say I didn't think much about Italy until I saw the way they took Turkey apart, and
Mm,
after that game, I just thought, wow, watch out. Of course, the usual suspects were very disappointing. France as well. I don't know what the heck happened to them. Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
I had France
Portugal.
winning. I had France winning personally.
No, I mean that's fair enough. That makes sense. If you look at who they've got up front and in midfield and in defence and in goal everywhere.
Mm,
But the trouble with these big nations who sometimes they bring it, but sometimes they don't. Uh,
yeah.
Germany have had disappointing tournaments. Portugal, they were disappointing. Spain, also disappointing.
Mhm.
So yeah, Holland also disappointing in parts, impressive in other parts. But yeah, you make the most of your luck. England played all but one of their games at Wembley, so they made the
Mhm.
most of it.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
anybody who's still nursing wounds over the final, I just want to remind everybody the final was actually a draw. It was actually a draw. I know that they lost on penalties, but over 120 minutes, um, even though Italy kind of grew into the game, they couldn't beat England. in 120
Open play.
minutes.
Yeah,
So you've got to take something from that.
of
You know,
course,
they
of
took,
course.
yeah,
I
took
think
it.
so.
Yeah, no,
I,
people forget that. I know it feels like a loss, and it was a loss on penalties, but it was like 120 minutes, two teams who were drawing. You know,
no, 100%. And to be honest with you, I think that if England were a little bit more aggressive in the first half,
hmm
where because I think in the modern day, in the modern game, like you usually get passages of football. Football games is one in passages of play. So sometimes you have the first 15 minutes. If you manage, like Man City sometimes do, just score 3 goals and that's it. The game's done before you even had your turn.
yeah.
You know. And if England managed to put another one away, I don't think Italy were coming back into that game.
No, I think it's true. It changes the whole complexion of the game. Goals
Hmm.
do. Goals change tactics. They change your mentality and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good experience for the players as well.
Definitely.
To be honest, they didn't just seem as comfortable on the ball as they had seen in all their other had been in all their other games. But now they've got to know what it's like to be in a senior final, because I know quite a few of them have been like in under 21 finals and so on. Then I think they will have a bit more confidence about the way they approach the game, and hopefully there'll be another final. I don't see why they can't be.
No, I agree. I think what the biggest takeaway from this is that the World Cup is around the corner, literally, because
Yes.
we're off cycle at the moment. It's what
Yeah.
it's 3 game. It's like a year and a half or something crazy like that. Like it's
Something
not
like
long at
that.
all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not long at all because it also said December World Cup. It's a Christmas World Cup, so it's going to be a bit weird. So if you consider that lots of these players, give them a season and a half, they're going to be beasts. Do you know what I mean?
All right. So yeah, I think we're positive. We're hurting, but we're positive.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's football.
It's football.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
All right then. So as with every summer in the Premier League, there's been lots of shifting about. As the resident Arsenal expert, I just wanted
Certainly.
you to cast your eye, cast your eye briefly over what's been going on at Arsenal. Any new signings? Perhaps Tavares. I don't know, but
Hmm.
you know, this is your time.
Okay. Well, Arsenal so far, we've had three major incomings. We've taken Nuno Tavares from, I think it was Benfica, so
Yeah.
Portuguese. He's come in as Tierney's understudy at left back, but is also known to be able to play left wing. But I'm pretty sure he's listed as a defender, so that's someone to keep an eye on. In his first game, he scored a goal in the first 15 or minutes or so on the pitch, and it was a clean shot, and it was something when you saw him take it, he took it quite naturally. So it makes me think that he could be dangerous on the wing.
I was
Um,
impressed. He's only 4.5 million. Sorry.
okay, yeah,
Uh,
because I haven't
and
actually checked the
he
prices
is a
of any of these new
defender.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
is a
listed as
defender.
defender. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then the other guy we've got a guy called Albert Sambi Lokonga, known as Sambi. Plays like silk. Really, really, really nice player. Young guy, 19. Captain of Anderlecht. We bought him. He's a centre midfielder. Can play a 6 or an 8, but I think we'll be playing him more in the 6th position, so like more as a defensive role, cover for Partey, who unfortunately has already been injured, so the cover will be
Yeah.
coming in early. Who else we got? And then finally the big money signing that where Arsenal spent 50 million, where we really didn't think that we needed 50 million. um, Centre back. So we bought Ben
Yeah.
White from
Now,
Brighton.
I'm looking here. Apparently, Ben White is also listed at 4.5 million. But
Now
I
that
think
is a steal. I'll put that out there.
I think a big part of that is to do with the fact that when the game launched, he was at Brighton, and in the season before, he was in the Championship. So the game takes into account the level that you have been playing at, including the team. I mean,
Interesting.
put it this way: if he had been transferred to Arsenal before the game had launched, he probably would have been listed at 5 million. But
Hmm.
because he was still a Brighton player, there's usually an extra 500,000 to 1 million added to your price if you're in
Yeah.
a traditional top 6 team. That's just the way it goes.
Hmm.
So yes, he is 4.5. I was not expecting him to be at that price, but
I'm not too surprised, to be honest with you, because although he plays, I mean, it's so like at the end of the day, we're here to talk about fantasy Premier League. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like reality, what you want to hear about is the point. So Ben White is not a goal scorer and he's not an assister. That's it. Facts. Like he doesn't do headers. He's got like the lowest. He's like in the 8th percentile of the top 5 leagues for winning headers. So you can imagine he's not doing anything. In terms of points, I think out of the 3 of them, first I'd look at Tavares, and then I'd look at Lokonga, and then I'd look at Ben White. But then there's a caveat on Ben White because surprisingly for last season, Arsenal had the 3rd best defence in the league. We had the 3rd least goals conceded, which is why lots of Arsenal fans are looking at that like thinking 50 million really. But so if you're thinking of a cheap clean sheet, which we actually did all right with last season, he might be your answer because he's definitely a stalwart in the defence. Also with Tavares, the reason we bought him is because he's a like for like. If you remember last season when Tierney went missing, we put Xhaka back in the left back position, which was not like for like, and we pushed our attack on the right side to try and like counteract that. Whereas now we've got Tavares, if injured, when it's not kind of like, it's almost in the Arsenal fan base, it's not if, it's more like when Tierney has his like off season, if you like, because of how he plays, Tavares will come in as a like for like and he'll be a cheap fit. So you should keep your eyes peeled for that because that he will definitely be banking points. Definitely, he's definitely getting an assist and or a goal.
I've heard a lot about Tavares. I will confess that it's possible. I mean, Tavares is a relatively common name in Portugal. Oh, Nuno, yes, I'm pretty certain he was the one I thought looked really good. This was like about a season ago. So I think he's got a lot of potential. Obviously, it's difficult for him to supplant Tierney. The chances of him playing on the left wing while Tierney plays on the left. I don't think that's something that Arsenal really need to do.
But what
unless,
I would suggest,
yeah,
what I would suggest is, I think lots of what people consider is that he's a replacement, yes, but also he's a different tactic as well. Like Arteta, if we're winning a game 1-0, I can see him bringing on Tavares at left wing as like to bolster. So like there's 2 defenders, but also 2 going forward as well as like a kind of double piece. So that could be quite interesting. I could see him coming as like a first off the bench if we're winning against a bottom half table team.
I mean, I'm speculating here if Tavares is to hold down and plays. If Arteta decides he wants to play 3 at the back, I think he can play on the left side of a 3 because he does that for Scotland, right? Or is it Robertson who does that for Scotland?
Yeah, exactly. So he can play the left of the 3.
To play. But again, I as you can tell, I'm excited about Tavares. Certainly, what I saw from him at Benfica, he's got me excited. I really do like the look of him. He reminds me of Marcelo, actually. But anyway, we'll see if he gets to play. That is the main thing. If you want fancy points, your players need to play. With Ben White, you're right. It's all about the clean sheets from what I can see. I've heard that he can also play in midfield. But again, if he does play in midfield, he's not going to be doing anything. You want the clean sheets.
I would say with the cover in Lokonga, I don't see him brought in as a midfielder. I just don't see it.
It's an option. I mean, if you need to change things around in a game, for example, but anyway.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Moving swiftly on, obviously none of the Liverpool boys are here, so we haven't got anybody to cast their eyes over.
I did see something though. Just thought I'd put it out. I saw Virgil van Dijk doing the splits. I wasn't sure if he meant to do that because Olympics are on and stuff. I wasn't sure if it was a gymnastics thing or I don't know. But looking sticky.
Now, obviously, everybody is Liverpool is excited about the fact that he's training and he's playing friendlies. Whether he's got 90 minutes of a Premier League game in him yet, I don't know. All right, because cruciate ligament ain't no joke, and I know that for a fact because I've ruptured my cruciate ligament.
Oh, okay,
really? Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, also, for goodness sake, people, I'm pretty certain he was on the pitch when Aston Villa scored 7 goals, but that's for another day. Perfectly when the Liverpool boys are back because they need to be reminded about that.
Liverpool boys aren't coming back until they win 3 on the bounce. I'm telling you that much.
Yeah, he was also on the pitch when Seville knocked him out of the. Was it Seville who knocked him out of the European Cup? The Champions League a seasons ago. It was Seville, wasn't
I think
it?
it might have been.
Or was it Atletico? Anyway,
No, it
so
was
he's on the
Atletico. It
pitch.
was Atletico.
Yeah, he was on the pitch for Watford as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tasmania
you
side.
know, he's not the magic answer to everything. That it may be that it's Henderson and Fabinho who they actually really need, but again, that's a discussion for another episode.
Mhm.
Right. So Kanate, is he going to play? I guess so because Gomez and Van Dijk are still coming back, so we might see him for the first couple of games. How much are they charging for him? I bet he's there for 6 million. Let me have a look. Kanate, 5.5. Well, if you want to take the risk, I mean, he's one of the cheaper defenders at Liverpool who's likely to be playing. So there, yes, he's also a player with a lot of potential. It's funny because they signed him from RB Leipzig, right? And also RB Leipzig had that guy Deo Upamecano, but he went to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so there were two centre backs at RB Leipzig. I think Liverpool got the bum end of the deal, frankly, because I think Upamecano, I'd much rather have him over Konate any day of the week.
Million percent.
Yeah, it's like when they went to Southampton, there was Jose Font and Lovren, and Liverpool went, "We'll sign Lovren," and I thought,
Yeah.
no.
I think the issue with the issue with Upamecano is, when you look at these players, if Bayern have tweeted in their ear, it's very impossible. It's almost impossible to get Bayern out of their mind. And
True.
Bayern tweeted in that guy's ear early on, because even Arsenal were in the race for him when Bayern were there, and the minute Bayern stepped in, it was a done deal. He said, "There's no way."
No, it's a shame, but there you go. So they came in, had a look at RB Leipzig, had a look around, saw Upamecano was gone, but they thought, we don't want to really leave empty-handed, so let's take another. You don't have to buy someone from RB Leipzig if the best person isn't there, But I could be being a bit unfair there. He's quick, so maybe that's just all they need out of their centre-backs, that they can run really fast.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Jadon Sancho, it's finally been done. After
Yes, it
Manchester United telling us how much they love Rashford and Greenwood and Martial, they decided that they don't need them all that much, and they signed Sancho. So if I was Mason Greenwood, I'd be screwing right now.
I'll be.
But he's exciting, and I will confess that he is in my Game Week 1 team. Mainly because his record is so good in the Bundesliga, plus he's cheaper than Fernandes. And he's going to play. So I like to think I'm getting one over everybody who's going to lump Fernandes in the team, because Fernandes is a whole 3 million more expensive than Sancho. So it's a bit of a gamble here. I'm getting shades of when I put Pepe in my team a couple of seasons ago, but I'm hoping it pays off this time.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, well, that's interesting. I personally haven't picked him. I knew that. Obviously, I know he's arrived. I mean, you can't be on social media in the past 2 months and not know that he's coming. But I just didn't consider it. I personally, I see Sancho like I see Aston Villa just bought him, Leon Bailey. I want to see them in the Prem. Give me two. Let me see them for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, then I'll make a judgment. I'll watch them rigorously, and I'll see what they've been up to. Because I mean, if he jumps in the league and storms it and gets a hat trick, then hey, I mean, opportunity missed. I don't care, but he's not going to get a hat trick every week, so I shouldn't feel too badly about it, But I don't know. I like him, but I'm intrigued.
No.
What gets me is I'm intrigued by his position in the England side. I'm not sure if that's a bias but what intrigues me is that Southgate saw him up against Premier League talent, and he wasn't selected over the Premier League talent. And I don't know if that's tenacity, or if that's drive, or if that maybe in Bundesliga you get a bit more time, or I don't know what it is, but he just wasn't selected. And I personally, whenever I saw the team sheet, I mean, don't get me wrong, you'll struggle to find a bigger Saka fan than me. But I was shocked to see Saka playing over Sancho.
Yeah.
Very shocked. So I'm just intrigued. I just thought, let me see. And he's got a good first game. He's up against Leeds. There's no hiding against Leeds. Bielsa's going to see what you're about. So let's see what he does.
So you're right. I agree with you 100%. It is a massive, massive risk. And, being good in the Bundesliga doesn't always translate. But I am working off this theory that I've had for a while, which is that every season, a big money signing with a massive reputation comes into the Premier League and they hit the ground running. The trick is to identify who it's going to be. And my money's on Sancho.
Wasn't your money on Werner last season?
We will sweep this under the carpet, okay? For every Werner, there's been a Torres and there's been an Aguero, all right? Yeah?
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
All right then. All right then. So...
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Rafa Benitez at Everton. What do we make of that?
I don't know. I mean, personally, I think Everton fans are... I mean, obviously, Liverpool legend manager Benitez is now your manager. I don't know how to feel about it. But then again, as an Arsenal fan, if we got Pochettino tomorrow, I wouldn't complain. So I couldn't care less either. Like, I mean, a manager's a manager. I don't see a manager as a player. It's interesting. But I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen because I be honest with you, I can't remember Benitez's playing style, so I'm not sure what to expect. What about you?
I can, all right, and the way Liverpool fans talk about him with rose-tinted glasses, it just makes me want to throw up in my mouth, okay? Because before that guy left, they could not wait to get rid of him. It was always too defensive. He plays twice at the back. It's long ball football. He plays everybody at the back. It's all about lumping it up to Couch, or it's lumping it up to Crouch, or they all they moaned about was how bad the football at Liverpool was in the Benitez last years. That's the thing about Liverpool fans. Even though he won them their first Champions League in like a long time, the gloss wore off pretty quickly after that because they weren't enjoying the football. They really hated it. Really, I cannot stress this enough. And with Newcastle, it was a good fit because he was the manager of Premier League experience, and he was obviously good at keeping them in the league. But he didn't get the owners to back him, so obviously he left. I'm sorry, but he's a man of habit, and what we are going to see at Everton, I'm convinced that he is going to shore up the defence, which is fine by me. But I don't think we're going to see exciting attacking football at Everton. So I don't blame Everton fans for being mad. They may be mad because he was the Liverpool manager, but I'm like you. A manager's a manager. What they need to be mad about is that they might see the goals dry for DCL. They might see James making his mind up that he definitely doesn't want to hang around if he hasn't already gone. Or Richarlison, the goals might dry up for him as well. On the other hand, players like Digne, Keane, Pickford, I think they've got clean sheets coming their way. So I have my eye on Dean, definitely. So and that is that. And everybody knows that even when he was at Newcastle, granted, because Newcastle had to survive, they did play defensive football a lot. But it's not a habit that Benitez is going to shake very quickly. For all the complaints Liverpool fans made about him, he kept them in and around the Champions League spots. And, they made some good signings while he was the manager as well. So I think he's got an idea of what he needs to do in his mind. But I see him as a tactically defensive manager who plays it safe. And if you speak to players who played under him, they always say the same things. He always asked me to track back and move into a defensive position when we were without the ball, even though the attacking players say that. So that's the Benitez file for me. So I've got my eye on Digne. But if you were hoping for DCL and Richarlison to do what they did last season, I'm saying you might be disappointed. That's my take.
Okay. Well, I hadn't planned to look to Everton, to be honest. I thought what happened to them was a mixture of like new manager, lots of big money injection, and I thought that's what was happening last season. And as you can see, it didn't last very long. So I wasn't expecting too much. I don't think I even have in my game week 1. I don't think I have one Everton player.
No,
so that just goes to show what I really thought.
I don't blame you.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Okay, very briefly, Nuno Espirito Santos at Spurs. What do we make of that?
I think it's gonna. I mean, I love it, but if you're a Spurs fan listening, just know me loving it is not a positive sign. I think it's gonna be nasty. I think it's gonna be nasty football,
Oh
man.
wow.
I think Spurs I think Spurs are in the toilet at the moment. They're struggling, like because
Yeah.
They went through. I think the final reported figure was something about like eight different managers before they fell upon Nuno. I don't know how you feel if you get called in eighth and you take the job for like what? But and also Harry Kane not showing up for training, trying to force a move out. Like it's a lot. It's a lot going on right now. He was everything that was good about Tottenham last season. Literally, it began and stopped with him. So with him gone, Jose gone, Nuno brought in, and then Spurs with 100 mil. I mean, we know what happened last time. They had a big transfer. They bought 6 players, and one of them they just gave away as a bit part in a transfer. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like,
Wasn't Eric Mena part of that splurge?
yeah, that's what I mean. Eric Lamela just
Yeah.
went out the squad, and they used him plus money to get another player in. So you can imagine he was worth it, well worth it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Personally, I liked Wolves as a team, but that was more because of their players. I didn't like Wolves as a playing style. I thought their players, they had exciting players. I liked their midfield. I liked their wingers. I liked it when they had Jota. Was it Jota? Did they have Jota?
Yes.
Yes,
They
I liked
did.
it when they had Jota. I liked it when they had Ruben Neves in the midfield, and they always used to score absolutely blinding goals. And then I'm a fan of Traore as well because he's fast and strong and skillful. So I liked it because of their standout players, but his playing style I was not. Like when he was picked for Arsenal as well, if you remember before we got Arteta, and I was like, please, let's just not, because that's just like we can't. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a stable manager. You'll finish top half of the table, I reckon, but you're not. Like Spurs are not going to enjoy the football. From Pochettino to Mourinho was iffy, and they hated that.
Yeah.
To move to Nuno is going to be. I mean, the guy was a goalkeeper. All right.
Oh dear, they all have their identities. Yeah. Pep Guardiola is the philosopher, Mourinho is the translator, and Nuno the goalkeeper. Yeah. Having said that, Spurs have got Watford and Crystal Palace in their first 4 fixtures. They do start with Man City, and then it's Wolves. But Crystal Palace, they're all over the place at the moment. And even when Hodgson was there, most of the time they were poor, and Watford have been promoted. So anyway, I don't know what to make of Nuno. The funny thing is, I like the fact that he played the 3-4-3 because I'm a big fan of wing backs. I love that style of play. And people used to say that Wolves were a counter-attacking team. I just thought that they were very good at keeping the ball. Most of the players were comfortable on the ball and could pass it, and the passing was slick. That's what I remember. But obviously, towards the end last season, it kind of fell apart a little bit. Was that down to Jimenez being injured? I don't know. Possibly. So the potential is there for him to do something with Spurs. I prefer to be positive about it. Harry Kane going, though, obviously is going to be a big minus. And I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if that kid Vinicius, whether it's his time to step up, or what was that name of that boy that Jose Mourinho always used to, the one who plays for Ireland, Jose Mourinho, he keeps saying, you told me to play him, I played him and he was rubbish. Now can you shut up? Yeah, that was him. I don't know if he's going to step up or are they going to like on up front again. Obviously this is all if Harry Kane goes, and I think he will. The thing about footballers is that there's no point in keeping one who doesn't want to say, although some footballers do get on with the job if they push for a transfer and it doesn't go through. But Harry Kane, he knows that he needs to be winning like stuff with his club, doesn't he?
Yeah, he needs a medal round his neck, or else.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's the player of a caliber who doesn't want to look back on his career and think, well, I scored lots of goals, but I didn't win a medal. Even Alan Shearer won the Premier League. Even Steven Gerrard won the Champions League.
Of course.
Yeah. So he
the thing is with Harry Kane, what intrigues me is like, if he doesn't go to City, if he goes abroad, let's just say I don't know, like this hasn't even been a rumor, I don't think, but say he goes to Real Madrid or something,
Yes.
like his voice is not his voice at Spurs, you know.
I did not expect you to go there. I thought, what's he going to say now?
No, because his voice is not his voice at Spurs. Like, you know how, I don't know if you watched it, where like he spoke a lot in the dressing room and like look, a couple golden, did he even how many golden boots has he got at Premier League?
2 or 3, something like
Alright,
that.
cool. 2 or 3
It's got at
golden
least
boots.
2.
2 or 3
Yeah.
golden boots does not compare to 4 or 5 Champions League medals. He better
No.
sit down. Like he's not. I think he should only stay in the UK because I don't think he's respected out of the UK. I'll be honest with you, because he's got to keep the base out. He's the Tottenham man. He's been their talisman. He's been their main man for the best part of like 8 years or something crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the best player. If he goes to Man City, he's just another player. Like that's it.
No, it's true.
He'll get benched.
He could be another Wilfred Boney, couldn't he?
For real. So I think he's stupid to leave, to be honest. I think he's stupid to leave because if he goes to, because he puts up a stinker at Spurs and he's playing the next game, you put up a stinker in City, you might be playing with the under 23s for a few games.
That's well, for even half the season.
Do you know what I mean?
They don't play, do they?
They'll bring in one Spanish 19-year-old and he'll have your shirt.
Yeah, that's how it happens. It's that quick. I think you've got a point that the Europeans are probably sitting there and they see all this stuff about Kane to Man City and they're thinking, who? But to be fair, during the Euros, he did show his technical ability because he had to do number 10 work an awful lot. And I know Europeans like that. They're not all that hot on target men in Europe, but if you can play a little bit, they're more likely to take notice. But who knows? I think everything else you say is a point. You've got a point. So with Spurs, it's a wait and see. Is Nuno going to improve the players? Is he going to improve the play? We really don't know. How long is he going to get? That's another question. I remember a while ago they signed that guy Jacques Tantini. I think he won stuff with France. And he went after less than a season. They had Juan de Ramos, who was very good at Seville, and he left after less than a season as well. So Spurs can ruin managers sometimes. Anyway, yeah,
it's interesting. So I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see what happens.
Yes, I think I'm slightly more optimistic than you. I have I see the more positive side of Wolves' play, but.
I don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic for failure, though.
Systems. You're right, and we will just have to see how it goes.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Yeah. So player picks and predictions. We'll start with the predictions in that case.
Okay.
Let me just.
Our first game of the season's us, isn't it? Well.
Yeah. On the Friday as well. So there's. Sticking with this Friday thing, I'm sorry, but I've had it up to here with the Friday thing. I just don't like it. It's funny because
personally,
they play.
I was just gonna say personally, I think first game of the season should be last game of the season. I think it should just be a riot, everyone kicking off at 3 and then see what happens. But obviously, money does not permit. But do you know what I mean? Like, because I think it's just a nice way to open it up rather than close. Do you know what I mean? Have a real ceremonious opening day.
More exciting. It is because it's a bit of a letdown. You have one game on the Friday. If it turns out to be crap, you just go to bed. No, and you're not G'd up for the weekend at all, are you?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Anyway, all right then. So yes, away to Brentford for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough fixture. I won't lie to you. I think it's gonna be a tough one. I don't think Arsenal have looked up to scratch in the pre-season at all. So it should be interesting. 2-1 to Arsenal, and I think I think 2-1 to Arsenal, and I think it'll be scrappy. I think it'll be a bit end-to-endy. I don't think Arsenal are going to control the game by any stretch. I think Brentford are going to come out firing, and they've got good attackers, so it's going to be a tough one.
I'm giving it to Arsenal because Brentford came up through the playoffs. It's a world of difference. It really is. I mean, say what you like, the gap between the Championship and the Premier League is getting bigger, right? There was a time when teams used to get promoted to the top flight and they'd finished like fifth, or they'd even, Brian Clough managed a team. I can't remember whether it was this Derby County, but they got promoted, and then the next season they won the top flight.
Wow.
Just does not happen. It does.
No, there's no way that's happening nowadays.
And it's the championship is just different. They say it every time, don't they? In the Premier League, you get punished for making mistakes. You can get away with your mistakes in the Championship, but in the Premier League, you get punished. And I think Arsenal are going to punish Brentford's mistake. It's all very well them wanting to play forward and go forward and be exciting and attacking and all the rest of that. But Arsenal have got world-class players, and if they turn it on, they're handing your backside to you. So I'm giving it to Arsenal. Brentford may well get a goal, but I think Arsenal are winning that one.
Okay. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think the gap is largening, and I think what's interesting as well is there's I would say there's even more so than before. Like, I mean, there used to be like a quite well-defined top four, but even more so there's like a top six which is like bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then there's even like a top in between that. There's like a 8 to 10 or 8 to 15, 8 to 12, which is like bulletproof as well. And good luck even breaking into that 8 to 12. It's like it's quite interesting how there's sects of the league, and if you're able to like push above to the other sect, it's like, wow, these people, you really notice that you're like, wow, they really achieved.
See, look, there's no romance over here. Yeah, I'm a cold-hearted, cynical man. All right, I don't want to hear it. They're a promoted team. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Yeah, there's no magic, no flipping, fairy tales. Yeah, they're promoted team, right? They climb up through the playoffs, right? They can even manage it over the whole season in the Championship. They took their chances of the playoff, right? I've heard a lot about the Brentford defence. It looks dodgy. Anyway, yeah, Man United versus Leeds on the Saturday. That's at 12:30, a lunchtime game.
Are you leaving? Are you waiting for me to give my prediction?
I to be honest, I haven't really given this much thought as well.
Never have
I.
It's a tough one though, because
yeah.
I think the interesting thing for me personally is I think Leeds, the way they run and the way they work, a pre-season like the one they've just had would benefit them greatly. And they're going to come in hot because they know the reality of the situation is they need to grab as many points as they can in the first half of the season, because they tail off quite quietly, and I'm sure Bielsa knows this.
Yes.
And if you're up against a top side who's had majority of their players at the Euros, this is your time to grab a quick 3 points against the top six.
No, you're absolutely right. Man United have had players in action all summer.
All summer, up to the Olympics. Like, what's his name? Yeah. What's that fella called? The guy they got in defence. I saw him at the Olympics just yesterday. The black guy, Bailly, yeah, he's at the Olympics.
Oh my God, please! What he did was just absolutely abysmal. Oh, he's not going to forget it in a hurry. For the uninitiated, I think Bailly was trying to clear the ball. Ivory Coast were winning that game, weren't they?
Yeah.
I don't think I need to go
to Spain.
What happened. Yeah. It was like what, the 93rd minute or something.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy. But anyway, you know what? I think you're right. I think it's going to be a draw, because it's going to take time for their players to get back, for them to be up and running. And while we all know how fit they are at Leeds, and they're just it's gonna be mental. It might be a proper ding dong as well.
I mean, just consider this though. Just consider this. We're talking the Sancho, Maguire, Pogba. Would Pogba be back straight away? Like, I don't know what the deal is. I'm thinking about Euros players, because they had Euro players going deep. Apart from Italy, most of their side is English. I mean, we know Rashford's out until at least December.
That's true.
And then Sancho, if Maguire's not playing, neither is Sancho.
Played as well, didn't he? Luke Shaw also went.
Luke Shaw also went.
Yeah.
Like, they might be fielding a really weak side or a tired side, depending.
Yeah.
So like that's a game to consider.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to sign Trippier actually, but he didn't really play though. So. But yeah, no, I'm saying the score draw.
Okay.
The high scoring one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a score draw or a Leeds upset, they might nick one because they love it.
Yeah.
You're all about about to witness a monumental throwdown.
All right. Chelsea versus Palace.
Chelsea looked good, mate. I'll tell you that much.
They did.
They looked solid against Arsenal. They looked like they were up for it, and they had all their Germans back because of Germany didn't get that far, did they?
No, it's true.
So this is a fully fledged Chelsea side.
Yeah. Crystal Palace are going to have to work hard to get something out of the game.
New manager as well.
Yeah, and he's having to replace a lot of players. You know, they're going to have to gel. So if they're a hard-working, if they really work hard and do the business, nothing fancy, just running and concentrating, they might be able to keep Chelsea at bay. But I don't see Chelsea conceding. So it's probably going to be 1-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I would have said that if this was Roy Hodgson's Palace, I would have said that I would have been leaning more towards a 0-0 boring game. Do you know what I mean? Because Crystal Hodgson he knew how to shut up shop.
That's true.
But I'm just interested. I don't know because I've seen some of the players that they bought. They bought that fella Elise, midfielder, top guy. And then he also bought the Chelsea centre back. Apparently he's quite solid as well. So I'm intrigued to see how he plays because I think he's going to be a Crystal Palace side that we haven't seen before. So I wonder if they're going to be aggressive or if they're going to be park the bus. So I think Chelsea are winning though, regardless.
Yeah.
I think they're just too well oiled. Oh yeah, I've got a question.
What they set up? Sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. I was just wondering. I mean, this is obviously different, but I was wondering what you thought about Chelsea defenders, and because they went on their crazy run, didn't they? I was wondering what you thought about them.
I don't see any reason why they shouldn't continue. The fact is, apart from the last game of the season, Chelsea don't really get spanked.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be more of the same, frankly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think the last game of the season was more because there was an eye to the final, the big final, innit?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, very much so. Absolutely.
Okay.
I just wanted to say really quickly. I read about what Patrick Vieira's management style was, but I can't remember what it said. What is it? Do you remember?
No, I'm not sure. I don't know too much about him. I'm just excited to see the guy.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's see what happens.
Just happy to be here, kind of guy.
Yeah.
We'll be watching that one.
So Norwich again open against Liverpool. It's the same in 2019, but this time it's at Carrow Road rather than Anfield.
Mm-hmm. So triple captain Salah.
Why not? I think he's going to have some joy. I think Liverpool are going to have some joy, and I'm not ashamed to say that my current game week 1 squad has 3 Liverpool players in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got
Salah,
Trent and Robertson in there.
That's exactly who I was going to guess. I was going to guess Salah, Trent and Robertson. I knew Trent and Salah were there, and I was thinking he might go for the other wing back.
Yeah, because Robertson's chip in. You know he can.
To be honest, I would say Liverpool, because they're Liverpool, and but if you look at their fixtures, they've got relatively nice fixtures. I mean, mixed in with a Man United, a Man City, and a Chelsea, but they've got quite favourable fixtures.
It is a good start. They've got a good start. Brentford also have a good start, but they're Brentford. Villa have a decent start.
Yeah.
Everton also have a decent start as well.
Yeah, I think Villa have got a good start, but then I'm going to change them. I think depending on who I've got, I might have a look and change around like week 4, week 3, just because of that horrible run with Chelsea, United, and Tottenham. But obviously, it depends how Tottenham are doing. But I mean, I agree. I think Liverpool are going to have joy, and I think Salah's gonna. I don't know why I feel good about Salah. He's also, I'm not ashamed to say, a player that I've got as well as Trent.
No shame here. So nice comfortable Liverpool win. Then on Sunday we've got Spurs versus Man City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, I think Pep's going to hand his ass to him. He's going to say, "Welcome to Spurs. I'm going to beat you."
Welcome to Spurs. Is that how it goes?
Literally.
Baptism of fire.
Yeah.
Life was good, and then you became the Spurs manager.
I'll be extremely shocked if City come away with anything less than 3 points. Extremely shocked.
What do I think?
I can't see Spurs winning without Harry Kane. And do you know what I mean? And if they do buy a replacement to bed him in, good luck.
Well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because we've got is it 13 days?
Mm.
I mean, that game is 15 days away. No, not 15 days away. It's
11.
11 days away. Excuse me. We don't know what transfer is going to happen in that time.
True.
Because you know what, Levy's, they've always got something lined up, but we'll just have to see what it is. In terms of how the game's going to go, I've got to be honest with you, I'm really not sure. On paper, it should be a City win, but let's see. When I think about City, and I think a lot depends on what happens with Kane. And even if he does go to City, are they going to sign him in time for the game? Yeah, because I mean, for example, with Sterling. I don't know if he's going to get thrown right in. Mahrez will probably be playing. Jesus will probably be playing. I don't know if Torres is going to start. I think it's just the uncertainty of how Man City are going to line up. That's what bothers me.
Who are going to line at City?
City. Well, but how both of them are going to line up, I suppose.
I think it's interesting. I really do. I think. I mean, I would love it if it was like week before that, like City are just like, yeah, it will take Kane. Thanks, see you later. Good luck. Good luck on Sunday. Do you know what I mean? That'd be class. But
either
no,
way.
I don't know. I mean, what's interesting is that like because we're still well and truly in the transfer window, things are developing as we're talking and as people are listening to this at different stages. Different things might be more pertinent than others. So like Grealish, for instance, like Villa are Villa, but we know what Villa look like when Grealish isn't there. So we saw what happened when he had shin splints. So
having said that, they've just signed Danny Ings, haven't they?
I know, and that's interesting because then what happens to Watkins? Are they playing two up front?
I think they are.
That's an interesting. So then what? Two?
No way you cannot play Watkins, not after all the goals he scored.
But they haven't got Barkley anymore.
Oh, has he gone back to Chelsea?
Yeah, he'll go back. He was only a loan.
Okay.
So it's interesting. Where's the creative piece? Like, there's so many questions. You've got to really see how they line up because Villa.
I think Buendia. I think Emi Buendia can do a job because
this is true.
He showed what he could do with Norwich, and he was obviously a class player. And I always thought this boy could actually do well if he goes somewhere. And I think Villa might let him off the leash a little bit. Plus, I'm very excited about Liam Bailey as well. I'd like to think that he will hold down a first team place. So if they've got him, Ings, and Watkins up front, backed up by Buendia.
Yeah, that when you lay it out like that, that's shaping up to be really interesting. That is shaping up to be a solid team.
I'm extremely curious. But anyway.
But back to City Spurs. Do you think?
I don't know. I am completely clueless. I don't know why I'm not ready to put my money on City winning that one. Just too many ifs and buts.
Yeah.
And I mean, City, do they start the season well? They do take a bit of a while to get going most of the time.
Usually, yeah. They don't regularly. I can think of one season where they were like quite a few points out ahead early by like game 7. But I don't. It just depends, innit? I suppose it depends. It depends. I would be interested to see their starting, and then if there was a European or a World Cup competition that summer, because I think that might have an effect because of they've got like star players in most of the teams. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I've it's a cop out for me. I really
okay.
I just do not know.
I'm sticking by a Spurs win. Question: do you think Grealish plays more games than Sterling this season?
Oh, you know what? I'm convinced that Guardiola has a soft spot for Sterling, and obviously last season wasn't a good one for Sterling, but he's come off a very good campaign for England, and I don't see any reason why he can't bring that to this club form. With Grealish, I don't know how much Pep is, whether it's more of a purchase of convenience for him more than anything else. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I've got 100 million. Yeah, what do you want to do with it? I don't know. We like the look of Grealish. Oh, all right then. That's what it sounds like to me. So this is my long way of saying I still think Sterling is above Grealish in the pecking order.
Yeah.
And they've also got Foden as well, haven't they?
Yeah. I see Grealish like fighting for one of those what do you call them, half eight? I
Yeah,
think fighting for one of those spots, and I think just because I don't know, I mean, obviously Grealish, you got to move. He's a top player and he's gonna want medals and stuff. It's the same Harry Kane thing, but I just don't. He's not getting game time like he was getting at Villa.
no,
He's not.
it isn't.
He's
But
getting 20 games max if lucky.
part of the reason people go to Man City is because they want to be managed by Pep. He's a big attraction for players.
They just want to be another piece on Pep Roulette. I don't know about that, mate.
No, well, I mean, everybody thinks that they're going to be top dog when they move, but they are prepared to take the risk because they're going to have Pep Guardiola as a manager. A lot of them are like, let's see what all the fuss is about, because you've got Kyle Walker there saying, oh, he's improving as a player. Sterling saying, oh, he's improving as a player. They all want a bit of that. They want to get better and they want to win things, and they think that they can hold down a place. Never underestimate a footballer's ego. It's Pedri. Is Pedri at Man City as well?
Pedri?
Right.
No, he's
No.
a Barcelona player.
Oh no, it's Rodri I was thinking of.
Rodri, yeah. No, I saw that guy.
Okay. There's a boy at Barcelona who I really like the look of. He's called Ricky Puig. I think that's how you pronounce his name. We watch out for him.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Anyway, player
Okay.
pick. You got any player pick?
Player picks.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, you go first. Go ahead.
Okay, it's going to be fairly obvious.
Mhm.
Number one, I say Luca Dean of Everton, because Everton have a decent start to the season. Their first game is Southampton, so they definitely get something for that. And I think Rafa Benitez is going to show up their defence, so I'm all about the Everton defenders. Number two, I have also rolling with Buendia of Villa, because if Grealish goes, he is going to be the creative force there. We know he can do it. He's done it before in the Premier League, and I think he's only going to get better. And then number three for the start of the season, I'm just going to say Mohamed Salah. Do I really have to explain myself? Hell no.
No, you
Playing
don't. You ain't got to explain anything. Salah versus Norwich.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for my my 3 player picks, I'm gonna go with Brentford striker Ivan Toney. I'm intrigued more than anything. I mean, I saw him. He scored amazing amount of goals in the Championship. As we know, it's a big step up, but he's against the Arsenal defence that it was 2 defensive mistakes that led to goals for the Chelsea in the first preseason game. So we see that something's got to go right at the back already. So I think if he can just catch on to one of those mistakes, that's a quick goal. He's got some favourable fixtures coming up. He's got Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Villa, Brighton. So I feel like he might be able to catch some joy. He could be a quick long-term one for quite cheap as well. The next player I'm going to go for might be interesting. I'm going to go for Jesse Lingard. I think I'm going to go with him because I think in terms of fitness, he'll probably be selected, and in terms of form, because of how he performed last season. I mean, it'll be interesting. If he doesn't get selected, I'll be shocked, because that means that the writing's on the wall. He needs to get out the door. But I feel like he deserves a trial in there, especially considering most of the players played summer football and he hasn't played any. So I think him starting against Leeds and or Southampton being the next fixture would be interesting to select. And then finally, my final selection player would be the man himself, of course, Mohamed Salah, because he was literally the first name I put on my sheet once I saw the Liverpool fixture list. I thought, a million percent I'm going to put him in there early. Just going to see he's definitely going to catch some goals at some point. He's too goal hungry.
Plus, he didn't play in the summer, really, did he?
Exactly. He didn't do that either. So I think for the first 2-3 game weeks, I think a real consideration should be, did they play in the Euros? Because even if they did play in the Euros and they are on the team sheet, you best believe they're coming off at 60. They're going to be the first ones off. So
100%. We've got to keep an eye on all of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm worried about a fair few numbers of players in my team. But if you're thinking long term, or if you've got enough cash to spread around, just a general tip. 2 tips actually. One, I wouldn't max out at 100 mil on your first team, because if you've got to shift some players, you might find yourself stuck. 2, always try to go for the most expensive player, because you can always trade down if things don't work out. But trading up is a lot more difficult. The thing about prices at the beginning of the game is that they're always a 0 or 0.5. So let's say, for example, you get somebody in who's 5 mil, but you actually wanted the 5.5, but you decide to go for the 5 mil player. And then you do that and you leave 0.5 in the bank. So you think, okay, if I want the 5.5 player, I've got 0.5 in the bank, I can afford it. Then the first game week happens, your 5 mil player does nothing. Your 5.5 player you didn't pick absolutely kills it, and he goes up by 0.1. Then you can't afford him anymore. The way the prices are, the difference of 0.1 can make people unaffordable or difficult to get in your team, because everybody's at 0 or 0.5. So yeah, that sounded very technical.
No, I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You're right as well, because it is a situation that people need to consider as well, because and also what may happen, I'm not saying it will happen, but what may happen is tired legs come out, they're not really fully fit, they put a hamstring, and then you're buggered.
No, it is true. So much can happen. Sometimes players get transferred out of the league altogether. Then you're also completely buggered. That's happened to quite a few people in the past.
I saw someone with Lukaku last season.
Yeah, I know. I saw so many people with Lukaku this season. That was tragic.
Although you might get Lukaku in this season, so you never know what goes around comes around.
Never tell. So be flexible. Keep some money back. Don't splurge the whole 100 mil. Really don't. Have some cheap players, because you never know what's going to happen, and you shift them about. Go from the most expensive player so you could always trade down to one that you might have had your eye on. But remember, trading up is always going to be a lot harder. I say that as somebody who's taken Sancho over Fernandes, but again, every now and again I like to gamble on players. It's painful, but I'm in it for the rush, man. So
fair enough.
Tears, yeah. You'll be waiting on my tears.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
All right, then. I think that's about it. If you're listening to this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. Give us some likes. Also, we've got the index in the description below as well, so you can flick between what section of the podcast you want to listen to. And don't forget, we're on Twitter as well, FPL_Bros. So check out the Twitter feed as well. Yeah. And yeah, that's it then. So I'm going to say goodbye now.
And goodbye from me.
Yeah. Green hours around. Bye.